Um, but today I just kind of want to go over like an overview of the systems and then also make sure that you're able to get into your email and all that good stuff. So let's
Yep.
start with your email. Did you get that email that I sent you over?
Yep, and I actually just went through all the downloading of the Office
Oh, okay.
365, so I have my email set up.
Okay, perfect. So I'll probably start sending you just training information. I may start, sorry, I just had a customer email me. Okay, I may start just like CCing you in on some of the customer conversations just so you can kind of see how I work with them. The way that you're going to talk to them and the way I talk to them will be so like it'll be different, and that's totally fine. But I do have some templates for you. Like, here's what I would send for this email. Here's what I would send for this email, things like that.
Yep.
Um, okay. So let's go through just an overview of all of the systems because we have a few. You should be receiving your movement suite system tomorrow or tonight. Tonight.
Okay.
That we'll start training on that probably tomorrow. And actually, before we get any further, let's just schedule our training for tomorrow. You're still good for like tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to do the same time tomorrow?
What, 10 to 12?
Yeah.
That yeah, that should work. Yep.
Is there a better time for you? Because I'm leaving Wednesday, Thursday mornings open. If there's a better time, we can.
No, that should work. 10 to 12. Yep.
Fine. Um, and then you start at the school at what time? Remind me again. I know I have all of these.
So on Wednesdays it's a half day because it's a game day. We don't have games this Wednesday, but so I start at 12:30.
Okay, gotcha. And then I have. Okay, good. Actually, that's. I'm trying to find some like I'm trying to schedule some training sessions like during the time that we can train. But I might just start CCing you on some of these training sessions, and if you can jump on, great. If you can't, no sweat.
Yep.
Okay. And like I'll know that they're most likely in during the times that you're like working. Even if you can jump on and you want to see it, it's totally up to you. Okay. So I'll send you that invite out for tomorrow. And then Thursday, does that same time work for you again?
Yep.
Okay. So tomorrow, what we'll do is we'll do the movement suite system. I'll teach you the AMI. So wherever you're going to be at, you'll bring that entire kit over and I'll show you like what the thing like everything that you need. I packed a surface, I packed a whole kit for you. So we'll just make sure that you'll want to charge all of that before, but I'll tell
Yeah.
you all that as we're going through. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to go through an overview of all of the systems. Okay, are you able to see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about that's Vmove Plus. Let's talk about the movement suite system. And so I also put together just like, oops, I don't want that. I'm so used to having multiple screens. And right now I'm traveling. I'm in Kansas City with my husband. He works on a project here,
Oh,
which is which is the main reason why I left Select, just being able to travel with him.
yeah, that's
So I'm
great.
used to all the screens. Oh, sorry. So there's a customer doing a testing event. All right, hold on one second. If you choose. I have someone doing a mass testing event and they're just asking questions.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. So the first system that we're going to talk about is Movement Suite. It's called vMove in Europe and vPerform in Movement Suite in the US. So a little confusing. vMove is our legacy product, so it's our first initial product. The modules on it, so you have Dorsaview is the company, Movement Suite is what we'll call it here. Movement Suite is the system, and then AMI, knee, running, and low back are the modules that you have accessible on there. And you also have like functional testing. Nobody uses it, so we're really not going to talk about that. Okay. So what we'll make sure that you know how to do is for sure train in the AMI, knee, and running. Low back is kind of hit or miss. If we have time, I'll make sure that you're able to train in that. Shauna is also available, and she's the one who taught me everything. So she's actually going to be covering for like in May, like Tuesdays and Thursdays, but you can reach out to her anytime. Sorry, he's texting me again. It needs to be in all, make it possible to skip. Otherwise, we lose all that data for future research. No way to get it back. Jesus. Okay. Let's go through. So I'm going to drop this in the chat. And there's going to be a few things that I'm going to be like, you should probably like save this as a bookmark. This is one of the things that you should save as a bookmark, just the website. Okay, so I just sent that over to you. I would just put it on your Google Chrome, whatever you use, bookmark it, Dorsaview website.
Okay.
Screen again. Okay. So just kind of to navigate the Dorsaview website, your products. So we have workplace solutions. You won't need to worry about that at all. Michael Oram is the US rep for that. And then Wendy is in Australia. You will need to know vMove Plus, which is our most recent product. That's probably what you're going to be training the most on and answering a lot of questions on. Professional Suite is vMove 2. That's what it's called, but also Professional Suite. It's iPad based. We'll kind of go through that. You won't really answer a ton of questions on this, like as far as like tech goes, tech questions. The only thing that you'll really have to answer is like, hey, I can't log into my profile, and it's just like literally try forget password, and then they're able to reconnect. Or maybe sending like a new sensor out. vPerform Movement Suite. This is also, I would say, vMove Plus and vPerform, you're going to get the most questions about. That's what we'll go through here. This is our legacy product. And then there's research. You won't need to worry about research at all. So you'll click on vPerform here. It'll take you to this website. Okay. So you have overview, how it works, instant analytics, case studies, webinars. So a common question that you'll get is when we're trying to, you won't have to worry about sales, but from an account management perspective, their goal is to usually implement it into like physicians, talk to physicians to try and get it on their return to play protocol, get other clinicians interested as well. So case studies and webinars are extremely important. So you can just send those websites or like click on it, send the site over to them. But you'll get that question quite often, like what's the research behind this, blah, blah, blah. So vPerform, this is going to be the system that you're going to get tomorrow. So Movement Suite vPerform. Okay, the names are a little confusing. You'll have 2 of these larger sensors, which are MDM sensors. Okay, and when using the AMI running a knee, you only need these 2 sensors. Okay, so these are the more important ones. As far as the sensors go, with customers, you'll need to send those sensors out if they break. So if like there's an end of shelf life and I have some videos of like how to detect if like something goes wrong or something like that, and we'll kind of troubleshoot that too. You'll send a sensor, you'll have them return it back to you. It's completely free of charge for them. So that's part of their license or their subscription. Okay. These are going to be hooked up on their back and then also their shins. And remind me, have you seen a sensor or have you seen an AMI or anything like that at all? Okay,
No.
that's totally fine. And then these small ones are the EMG sensors. Okay, so the EMG sensors are just for the low back module. So they're assessing like basically flexion extension of muscle output. Here are clients, and then this is kind of how it works. So you have the sensors on the body of the person. The sensors attached to the body with adhesives, okay? That's something else that you'll be responsible of. People will run out of adhesives because those are one-time use. You'll send those adhesives off and I'll send you the DAP. They're called DAPs. For VMove or for Movement Suite, you'll use the DAP M30s. And I will send all of this to you and we'll go through it all. Just general overview, just know that this will probably be overwhelming right now, okay?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, so the sensors go on the person's body using the DAPs. The sensors then put information into an RFD. The RFD is basically like a black iPod looking thing, okay? The RFD is connected through a USB cord, and then that inputs it into the Surface. The Surface is the only, you can't use an iPad on the Movement Suite, it's just the Surface, okay? So it's a Windows compatible system. And then you also have, so in the system, you have video feedback and instant reporting. So this is just kind of how it looks. You have all of these data tracings here. You have a capture window as they're performing the exercise. So on this exercise, they'll have like a sensor on their back or shins, depending on which module you're in, and you're capturing the movement of that person and that person only. So let's go to AMI first. This is our most popular module. The exercises in it is a plank. So you have the sensors on their PSIS and then one on their TL junction. The way that you keep it standardized is you find their PSIS, you put the MDM sensor on, and then you, based off of their height, there's a template, so a back template. So I'm 5'9", you would pull out the back template that says 5'9", stick it on their back, put the sensor on, okay? As they're going through this, and let me just pause really quick because I just had a thought. Are you able to grab a subject to test on for tomorrow morning, like to practice on? Or do you want to schedule that maybe a little further out so we can?
I may be able to.
Okay.
Let me.
Yeah, just let me know, and we can
Yeah.
kind of plan around that.
Let me write it out again.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
All right. So you have the plank. So on the plank, basically what they're doing, they have a sensor on their PSIS and then one on their TL junction. You put them in the perfect plank. So how the plank works is you put them in the perfect plank. So feet together on their forearms, back nice and flat. If they start an extension, it's not going to capture the movement that you want. Okay. The metrics being measured here are flexion, extension, and then rotation as well. So you put them in the flat back position. As they go through the plank, it's 60 seconds. They're gaining points. Okay. If they deviate outside of 8 degrees in flexion, extension, or any rotation for longer than 2 seconds, it will knock them a point. If they deviate outside of 8 degrees and recorrect within 1 second, it will not knock them a point. If they deviate outside of 8 degrees and never recorrect back into that starting position, it will continue to knock points as they go through. So like when I was testing a lot of athletes, like some of your most athletic kids who constantly have low back pain or hamstring strains, they'll score like a 5 out of 30 because they're not able to maintain that nice flat back position. Okay.
Yep.
Then you have a side plank. So the reason why we're doing, so actually you'll do squats. So the next one's actually the double leg squats. You'll basically be having the surface, you'll put it on like I usually do like a testing box or something like that. You'll have the person standing away from you, facing away. I usually like to capture there's video capabilities. So I usually like to capture from their heels up to their shoulders. And you have the sensors on their low back and the TL junction still. You'll capture each individual rep. Okay, so like a capture window, you'll press a space bar, a capture window will pop up. You tell them to squat, they squat down, they come back up straight. Coming back up straight tells them that they're finished with that movement. You close that capture window. That's rep 1. You do the exact same thing for 20 reps. Okay, so that capture window is showing us like what the movement is. So we get the objective metrics from that rep and that rep only. Okay. So what it's testing is flexion extension of the spine and then a shift and a squat as well. And usually how I have them set up in a squat, and we'll go through this, but like I like to see what they normally do in the weight room. So if their feet are turned out, if they're wide stance, like whatever's comfortable for them, I want to see what their natural movement is. So then it's me understanding their objective information, but also like a teaching point as well. Then you go through side plank on the right. So side plank, you stack their feet, shoulder over top of the elbow, everything's nice in line. The reason for this, why we have the side plank before any of the single leg exercises, because the most active muscle in a side plank is a glute med. So the whole point of the AMI, the athletic movement index module, is to fatigue the athlete. So we can show like where they're at most risk, right? Because we can appreciate like injuries happen mostly towards the end of a game when they're fatigued, but also like when their coach needs them the most, right? So we can relate that from a performance perspective. So again, the side plank is very similar to the front plank. You put them in the perfect position and then you test them for 60 seconds. You do the right side and then their left side. Okay, any questions with that first part?
Nope, that makes sense.
Okay. So then you take the sensors from their back and then you put them on their shins. Okay. So on the shins, they do all of the single leg exercises all on the right side, and then the exact same exercises all on the left side. As they're moving through the exercises, they're getting more dynamic and more fatigued, again, to replicate towards the end of the game. So they go through 10 single leg squats, 10 single leg hops, 8 multi-directional hop to plants where they're jumping forward, backwards, outside, and inside, and then an active ankle lunge. So we're assessing ankle mobility. And then they do that on the left side as well. Okay. The metrics that are being measured in this are tibial inclination. So tibial inclination, I didn't know this before I started using it. The tibial inclination, the angle that we're measuring is basically from their foot to their tibia. So the angle of how much dorsiflexion or tibial inclination they have, right? Active dorsiflexion. So if I'm, say, for instance, I'm jumping and landing with a straight leg, I'm not going to have a ton of tibial inclination. I'm not allowing my ankle or my tibia to translate over top of my ankle. So it's showing me, am I bending my knee when I'm jumping and landing? Depth of squat. Do I trust it? Is there a strength issue? Is there a mobility issue? Right? Okay. If I jump, land, and bend my knee, I'm going to have a higher tibial inclination, and that's a good thing. And we have best practice recommendations for all of this. Okay.
Okay.
Then we have varus to valgus, so total frontal range of motion. On this system, we're measuring that entire frontal range of motion. So how far are you going out to varus to how far are you going into valgus? Okay. We want that number for each individual metric, and I'll go through this all. Each individual metric to be less than 10 degrees. Okay. On our new system, from what we're seeing from research is valgus is the more provocative movement, right? We don't see a ton of injury on varus unless it's like really an impact injury and, someone's hitting them going laterally, you're going to get your LCL. But really from research, we're seeing a lot of risk in valgus motion. So on the vMove Plus, we're assessing it that way. But when we're teaching people for movement suite, we're teaching them the total frontal range of motion. And you won't really have a lot of new customers for this. Honestly, it's select, like passing systems over and just teaching current clinicians how to use it.
Yep.
The last one is speed of varus to valgus. So how fast your knee is moving side to side. Okay, so like I think of stability, I think of control. So if you put a high magnitude of valgus plus a high speed, that's simple physics, right? That's creating a lot of force on that ligament. So speed you want as low as possible. And we have that, which is very challenging for athletes and clinicians to understand when they see speed. So just always make that point on it, okay? And then ankle lunge, they're basically, so think like hop to plant. What you're doing is you're capturing each individual rep where they jump forward. So you press the space bar, open the capture window, say jump forward, they jump forward. They land, you press the space bar, you close the capture window. Then they go backwards, same thing. Outside, so they jump, if they're on their right leg, they jump to the right, and then inside, they jump to the left. They go through that 2 times. And then the exact same metrics are being measured for that. Okay. And then the last exercise is an ankle lunge. So basically they're in a kneeling position. So if I'm assessing my right leg, I have my left knee down, right leg out in front. And I start in, so if this is my ankle, right? I start in 90 degrees and you open the capture window, you tell them to go. You're wanting to have them translate their knee as far forward as you can without letting their heel pop up. And you're just assessing true mobility, active mobility there, okay? So when you get into like the tibial inclination piece, you're able to understand why aren't you hitting tibial inclination? Looking at the ankle lunge, oh, you don't have the mobility to hit that. So it helps kind of channel like athletic trainers, clinicians, like where do I need to focus? Oh, we need to open up your ankle. Maybe we need to do some joint mobs. And then we'll do some like, soleus, gastroc stretching, etc. Any questions on this?
So for all these, it's not the technology doesn't pick up like if they start the movement, you have to actually manually press like capture that.
Exactly.
Okay, for it to start. Okay.
Exactly. Absolutely. And then after that, it's capturing all of it, the metrics. So you literally have to press the space bar to capture the movement, and then the system does the rest of it. Good
Do
question.
you usually have them practice the movement first, or it's just like a
Yeah, you can. Like I'll say, hey, do you want a practice rep of a single leg hop? If they're like, no, let's just go into it, I'm like, okay, perfect. If they're like, yes, let's do 1 rep, okay, you have your 1 rep, and then let's go. Kind of
okay.
thing. You want to treat this like when I was using this, you want to treat this as like a test, right? Like
Yeah.
the whole purpose, the actual purpose of this is return to play. But we utilize this a lot in like rehab as a tool to kind of see their progression and then also check ourselves as clinicians, like, are we on the right track? The return to play, like, if they're not jumping, I want to see you hop. I want to
Yep.
see you like, get up, right? But yeah, if they ask for a practice rep, absolutely, they can do one. What other questions do you have so far?
I think that's it
Okay.
for that one.
So if we go to, where am I? I'm trying to think if I have a report on AMI. I don't. We'll dive into that tomorrow. Let's talk about running next. So running is the next module. So you have a variety. So you have 2 different ways that you can do, well, 3 different ways that you can do the running module. A treadmill assessment, a monitoring assessment. So treadmill is a live assessment. Monitoring is you have them take the RFD out with them. They have the sensors on their shins, so nothing on the back for the running, just the shins. You have them go out and run, like a lap, 2 laps, a mile, whatever you want them to run. The monitoring gives them the ability to run on the surface that they like to run on, and then you bring that back in, you generate the RFD into the surface, so you download all of the data, and then it generates a report for you there. And then the last one is an acceleration to deceleration. So basically you're having them sprint to stop. And an athlete that you would want to see this, like, would be a soccer player, a basketball player, right? The information that you're going to gain off of this, Oakley, stop. Oakley. Sorry. The information that you're going to gain off of this is going to be leg symmetry, so right and left, average ground reaction force, so GRF. So ground reaction force is going to be taken in mid stance. Initial peak and ground reaction force. I have a running metrics like sheet for you. I'll send that over to you. That's going to be how much power they're pushing through during their mid stance. And then also initial peak acceleration. So initial peak acceleration is during foot strike. That's how are they coming into the ground? Are they coming into the ground more horizontally, kind of gliding? That's what you want to accomplish, right? Or are they coming into the ground vertically and like allowing their foot to slap? So from my perspective, I'm like, if I have an athlete or a patient coming in vertically and their foot slapping, shin splints, stress fracture, right? They don't have that anterior control, that eccentric control. And then you also will have average ground contact time. So as I'm running, if my impacted leg is the left leg, is that less than my right leg? Am I trying to get off of it? Right? So maybe it hurts, maybe I don't have control, whatever it is. The running, you definitely have to know your patient a little bit more. It's not as black and white as the AMI, but I think the running is kind of cool because you're able to be like, if you're training someone or answering any questions, you're going to be able to be like, what do you know about this patient? Right? Does this information make sense to you as opposed to, did they hit this criteria, yes or no? The running community doesn't like best practice recommendations or criteria because every runner is going to be different. So we have kind of ranges that we'll look at. We also have running. It just released on our vMove Plus platform. So I could definitely see you training in the running for that too. So we'll learn all of that. Okay.
Okay.
So let's just play this video. You can see what it is. So this is the live, so on the treadmill. So they have the sensors on the shins here, and then it's capturing all of their metrics, all the movements. The funky gait. Here's a sample. So how it works in the movement suite is you have 3 phases. So if you do a run live, which is a treadmill assessment, you have 3 different speeds. You'll go jog, run, sprint. Okay, so if I have, let's just say like I have a cross country athlete, long distance, right? How I would explain the jog, the pace for them, I want to see what you look like on your Sunday morning run, your recovery run. So a little bit slower of a pace, okay? Running, I want to see what your race pace is like. Show me what that is. And then the sprint, I want to see what the last few feet or the last few yards of your last race or like of your race is going to be, okay? So how it works is you put them on a treadmill. And I think when we're setting up for these trainings, you'll definitely want to make sure that you have a subject to teach them and then also have like treadmill accessibility. So we'll have to like find a day where you're able to like go into the clinic or somewhere and just like test someone on the treadmill, okay?
Yep.
So the jogging, so how you do it is you put the sensors on their shins. Again, they're attached by the adhesives. And then you open up jog. So if I'll choose live run manual, I want to press jog. I'm holding the surface, they're on the treadmill. You're capturing a video, so you can really do it from behind, from the side, from different points. You need at least 60 seconds in order to capture enough steps on this one. Okay. So I hit the space bar. I tell the subject, okay, let me know when you're at your Sunday morning recovery run pace. When you're comfortable in that, give me a thumbs up. Okay, once I see that thumbs up, I press the space bar. We're on timer for 60 seconds there. Okay. And so as I'm capturing that, once I hit 60 seconds, I press the space bar. And then it automatically goes into the next speed, which is run. So then I'm telling the athlete on the treadmill, okay, let me know when you're in your race pace. When you're comfortable in that, give me a thumbs up. They give me a thumbs up. I press the space bar. I'm capturing that movement for 60 seconds. Okay. From going from jog to run, all of that information below is going to be there, but it's not going to go into the report.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll be like, all right, show me your sprint. So once you're in your sprint position, your last few feet of your race, give me a thumbs up. You need at least 30 seconds of this sprint. Okay. Because obviously we're getting more foot contact as they're running a little bit faster. And then once you're finished with the assessment, you'll view the report. And the report's going to come out looking like this. Okay. So just kind of a general overview here. This is based off of the ground reaction force. So it's based off of this. So there's asymmetry of ground reaction force. So it's a little confusing. Basically, what this is showing is they're offloading their left side 29%. Okay. So if I'm looking here, they have a higher GRF on their left side versus their right side. So they're having more power go through their left side. And I'm going to connect you with Simeon, who's one of my coworkers in Australia. He's a proficient runner. He explains this really well. And also Shauna does too. So I'll probably schedule a time for you to work with Shauna on this. Running's definitely like not my strength. Let me just write this down. Shauna or Sim. Okay, then we go to average steps per minute. So initial peak acceleration. You want IPA to be lower. So a higher number is going to replicate a more vertical step into their foot strike. Okay. So if I'm looking at this, I'm gonna be like, what is happening on this left side, right? Their foot is slapping into the ground as they come into the ground on initial peak acceleration. If I'm getting up to like the 8s, 9s on this, I'm going to start thinking like, do you have shin pain? Do you have knee pain? Do you have any pain on this left leg? Okay, it's not efficient here. The next one is average steps per minute. So how many steps are they taking per minute? Total distance ran, and then average ground contact time. So average steps per minute would be cadence. That's extremely important in the running community. They usually will want to see like 180 per minute. Okay. And every runner is different. Then you have your average ground contact time. So this person looks like they're spending a little bit more time on their left side versus their right side. So either they're trying to get off their right side. This is where knowing your patient is more important, right? Either they're trying to get off their right side or they're not able to absorb as well on their left side. So which one is the impacted leg, right? Which one are they having concerns with? And then matching it up with their initial peak acceleration and the ground reaction force. Okay. And then you have the same thing for running. So when you're having a clinician analyze someone in their speeds, the more important speed is whatever they're comfortable doing. If it's that cross country runner, that race pace is going to be the most important for me. Okay. Or when are you having the pain? Because if they're not used to doing a slow jog, if they're a sprinter, right, and they're not used to doing a slow jog here, their metrics are going to be a little off. Okay. Over to the right here, these are all of the, so this is their left side, this is their right side, and these are all of the assessments that they've done. Okay, this will also show you the assessment. So this is what you looked like on your first first assessment with your ASI. This is what you looked like on your second assessment. Okay. You really won't get a ton of questions on the run. Maybe you'll train people like within Select. And maybe you'll have them do report interpretation. But again, it's really on the clinician. Like I always say, we're giving you the metrics. You use your own clinical knowledge and experience how you want to use those metrics, right? How you want to make the call.
Yep.
I'm not even going to teach you the hamstring. Nobody uses the hamstring. Okay. I'll teach you the knee assessment, but that's the run module for live for the treadmill. Okay. And then when you have them do the monitoring one, you're going to basically capture portions of their run and it'll come out with like a report very similar to this. It just won't be called jog, run, sprint. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then the knee module. So the knee module is, a lot of people like this, especially for like general population. It's not as cohesive or comprehensive as the AMI. You don't have the planks involved or anything like that. I actually think this would work really well in an athletic training room, like at a university, or if you have high school, if you have the funds for that too. It's super quick, super easy. You're getting awesome metrics. But clinicians like using this for like more of their general population that can't get into planks or something like that. It's just a quicker assessment. So basically you have the sensors on their shins the entire time. So no sensors go on the back, they're only on the shins. Okay, you're able to kind of modify the reps here, which is super attractive to a lot of people. So you go through single leg squat. You can do 5 to 10 reps from what I believe. You also do double leg squat. That's tracking not the pelvis or not the flexion, it's tracking their tibial inclination. Okay, single leg hop, and then single leg box drop. So stepping off with their right leg and then stepping off with their left leg, landing on one leg. And then double leg box drop. So stepping off of their right leg and then landing with 2 legs, or stepping off their left leg and then landing with 2 legs. Okay, I'm going to play this video here just so you can see it. See leg hop, the double leg squat, double leg box drop, capturing all that. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. Any questions on that at all?
Nope.
Okay. So then the metrics that you get, this is what it looks like here. Okay, so you have each rep below. So rep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you also have them put in here as well. So this is the valgus varus metric. So their average is -6. Anything negative in our system means valgus when we're talking about valgus varus. Anything positive means varus. Okay, so this 0 line is like perfect movement. Okay, you didn't go into valgus, you didn't go into varus. We know that every person is going to go somewhat into valgus, somewhat into varus, right? So I'm able to kind of track and pinpoint, okay, so the first rep, we went into valgus, but we're still in the yellow here. Second rep, we're in the green. Third rep, yellow. Fourth rep, yellow. Fifth rep, green-ish. Okay, so green is good, yellow is moderate, red is needs work. Okay, then we're able to really understand like what are the metrics for here. So rep 1, -7, negative when we're talking valgus varus is valgus, right? Rep 2, they went into 3 degrees. So that's where it's shown here. Rep 3, they went into, is that 8 degrees? Okay, so that was their highest one. 10 degrees is where we don't want you to get. So 10 is where we're hitting in that red. Okay, 7, degrees for the 4th rep, which you see here. And then 5th rep is 5 degrees. Okay. Their average speed was 10 degrees per second. That's actually really good from like a single leg squat perspective. You want that less than 20 degrees. And then tibial inclination, we want it around greater than 33 degrees here. Okay. So as I'm looking at this, I like to look at tibial inclination first. So 33 degrees, I want them to hit 33 degrees. So this is their speed within 32 degrees. These are their reps within 32 degrees. I want to see what you looked like within 33, right? And like as I look below, I have all my reps here. And I can see there are reps where they do hit it, like in the last few reps. So what this is showing me is they just need a little bit of a warm up to allow their knee to translate over top of their ankle, right? But their speed is awesome. So their speed is small and their magnitude of valgus is also small. Okay, so we know ACL, if we're talking ACL, hyperextension into valgus, right, at a quick speed is going to create an ACL tear. So from this perspective, I think this is a pretty good assessment. Okay. Any questions on that, or does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Perfect. Okay. That's the quick and dirty of the movement suite. Any questions on this at all?
So would they, in general, when somebody's going through the screening, would they do all 3? Or would they just do 1, or like what
Good question.
in general?
So customers will purchase specific modules. So like for
Okay.
instance, Select has the AMI module available and then also the Run module available. Other clinics will have all 3. Some clinics will just have 1. Okay. So when you're having a patient go through the assessment, like if we're looking at the AMI, a complete assessment takes about 25, 30 minutes. From start to finish, from prep to assessment in the middle and then report interpretation, that takes like probably a full hour. The knee assessment can take you like 5 minutes. So typically they're going to do 1 assessment at a time, but like for their running, that's super quick and super easy, and the knee is super quick and super easy. You could do multiple, or even for the run, what I used to do a lot is I would put them on the treadmill at the very beginning of the session, have them do the assessment, take them off the treadmill, look at the report, maybe do a few corrective exercises, and then toss them back onto the treadmill with some cueing and see if that helps the results. So you could play it like that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
And I think you bring up a really good question. So like, for instance, for the AMI, the reasons why people are doing the test, you do it on a healthy individual, right, to see their risk. So like when we would do it at Select, I would have all of my athletic trainers do mass testing events. So they would schedule a mass testing event with all of their athletes, like who were available to do the assessment. We would be capturing a baseline for them. So the goal was, as we can appreciate in Select, it's really important for athletic trainers to send referrals into the clinics, right? So we were capturing some of those healthy individuals and being like, hey, do you have knee pain? Have you ever had knee pain before? Here's what your objective assessment looks like. You need to go into into therapy. Okay. So you could test healthy individuals. That could be a cash paying assessment. You could test for specifically return to play. That can be insurance based or cash pay. You could test from a progression standpoint. So like an athlete comes in, they're getting ready to run. Maybe they're 4.5 months, 4 months out. I can test them all the way up until the single leg hop, skip the hop to plant. But maybe 4 to 6 weeks later, I'm going to test them on the hop to plant to see, are you ready to return back to some non-contact drills, maybe a little bit of cutting. Okay, and then continue to test them until they pass all of the metrics and they're back to return to play. So it's a nice way to show a comprehensive program to check the athlete, but also check yourself as a clinician. Are we on the right track here? We used it a ton in the clinic to communicate to the athletic trainers at Select. Like, hey, here's what their score is. I think from our perspective, what are you seeing? And we'd be able to communicate back and forth. Here's what I'm seeing on the field. Like, they're really favoring that impacted leg. Okay, during maybe some when they're pushing off, right? Okay, that makes sense because their hop to plant wasn't looking so hot. So let's continue to work on that in the training room, and we'll continue to work with that in the clinic. So those are the three main reasons why people do the AMI. Healthy individuals, return to play, and then progression. Running assessment, runners will come from all over to do an assessment, right? Could be healthy, could be a nagging injury, could be an athlete. Let's use ACL again. They're at the 4 months, 4.5, 5 months. I want to assess what your running looks like. And then the knee module, similar to the AMI. Healthy individuals, quick assessment, right, for progression, and then also return to play there. Okay.
And are these are the metrics based, are they general or are they based on like certain demographics?
A really good question. So we're actually in a research study with Tim Hewitt on showing demographics and what they should be scoring. We don't have like, you're a 16-year-old female volleyball player, you should score 60% in order to return to play. We don't have that information. For the AMI, we have information on what our best practice recommendations are based off of us mining all of the data. Okay, that's a question that you will get a lot. What's the research behind this? So we vetted all the exercises from a research perspective to make sure that they're in line with these are risky movements, right? The single leg hop, that's a risky movement. That's there's research on the single leg hop, the metrics for that. But we don't have research on what your overall score should be when you're returning back to play. That's one of the goals that we're trying to answer. So what you can definitely say is like, we vetted all of the exercises from a research perspective. However, and our best practice recommendations is from us mining all of the data, understanding what people typically are scoring when they're in a risky movement. Now, an NFL player versus that 16-year-old volleyball player, they're moving a little differently, right? We should have a little bit different expectations. However, if their knee is going into 13 degrees of valgus every single time, regardless if you're a 16-year-old female volleyball player or an NFL athlete, that's risky, right? I'm going to teach you how to get out of that. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay. What other questions do you have here?
I think that's it for right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go through. Do you need a break or are you good so far?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, let's get into Professional Suite then. Actually, let's talk vMove Plus because that's going to be very similar to the Movement Suite. Okay, so vMove Plus is our newest product. Our goal is to transition all of our current customers using Professional Suite and Movement Suite to vMove Plus. The goal of that is because eventually the Movement Suite product, from like a syncing perspective, storage perspective, Microsoft is increasing their price. It's going to be extremely expensive for us and extremely expensive for the customer. It's also on a Surface and Windows, and like not a lot of people use that or know how to use it. So iPad is really where it's a little bit more intuitive. People are used to using that. So we're trying to transition over to the iPad. So for instance, like with Select is our biggest customer. And so right now we've done like a pilot with probably 5 clinics in Select. And then working with, are you familiar with who Kelly Cover is?
Yep.
So Kelly Cover, he's helping us kind of like push it towards security. So like when you're working with like larger outpatient divisions like Select, we have to get security to sign off on it, IT to sign off on it, and then like obviously the market managers and the clinic managers to sign off on it. So we pretty much have like the clinic manager, market manager, because they're like, there's more information. Yeah, let's get off of the surface, right? It's more cost friendly for them using an iPad. Right now we're moving through the whole security standpoint. And you guys have a ton of tech like the Blaze pods that you're trialing, Trazer, force plates. So we're just kind of waiting our turn on that.
Yep.
Okay, so vMove Plus, I freaking love this system. So the two modules that you have on this is the AMI and then also the running assessment. The difference between the running assessment on here versus the movement suite, so the one that we just talked about, is we don't have the monitoring piece. So all of these assessments are treadmill assessments. vMove Plus has been released probably for about maybe 6 to 9 months. And then the running assessment has been released for about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So super new. So I actually haven't even trained anyone in the running assessment yet. So what I'll do is I'll record a lot of that. I'll put a PowerPoint presentation together so you can see it. But Shauna will also be available to help too. But you'll be fine. It's just running super easy to train in. I trained pilot testers, I guess I should say, but not necessarily our production version. Okay. Okay, so the AMI on the, let's actually just back up. So currently with the vMove Plus, you need an iPad. So the customer supplies the iPad, and then we will supply the sensors. If I were to back up and talk about the pricing point for the movement suite, how that works is you purchase the Surface from us, which is about $1,200. And you won't need to know this from a sales perspective. But if someone's trying to talk to you about, can I transition to the vMove Plus? What are like the pros and cons of this? Movement suite, you purchase the Surface. We've noticed that those last maybe 5 years. It's $1,200. An iPad is maybe $500 at most, right? So definitely cost saving. You purchase, each module is based on a subscription for 12 months. Okay, so AMI module, I have to check the pricing of that on the movement suite, but on the AMI, it's $250 a month. And I have all this pricing information, so I'll send this over to you too. You also have the ability to pay for it up front and you get a discount. But regardless of however you pay for it, you're locked in for 12 months. So it's not a month-to-month thing. Movement suite at this point is month-to-month. Okay. From movement suite, you purchase the Surface, $1,200. You also purchase the sensor set, which used to be $3,000 for a one-time fee. However, because we're trying to transition people over to vMove Plus, it's $500. Okay. So a total of, what is that, $1,700 for upfront equipment costs. Then plus your subscription monthly fee for 12 months. Now vMove Plus, we're waiving the equipment fee. So you have to supply your own iPad. We'll provide the sensors for free in the charging dock, but then you're just responsible for the subscription fee, which is $250 a month. Okay, so it's a lot more cost effective to go towards the vMove Plus. So the equipment that is involved, they supply the iPad, sensors, charging dock, and cord, and that is it. Okay. I actually had Jordan from, where is she at? I want to say you're in Connecticut, right?
Yep.
I think she's in Philly with Samron Fulla. Are you familiar with Samron Fulla or Ashley
No.
Quayle? Okay. Samron Fulla is a market manager, I believe. He oversees multiple clinics, but basically we had them pilot the AMI, the vMove Plus, and they're sending you their kit. They're going to send it out like Friday, I believe. Okay.
Okay.
So I believe I sent you that tracking information. Or I just maybe forwarded you the email. And if I didn't, just let me know and I'll forward
Yeah, I
that.
think I remember seeing that email.
Okay. Good job, Maka. I was on it. Sometimes, it's hit or miss with me. Okay. So this is a big selling point. iPad, you have sensors. You can take it out to a field. You can store it into like a corner of a clinic, a busy clinic, pull it out whenever you're ready to need it, right? It's just a really nice intuitive system. The sensors are Bluetooth. Inside each sensor, and it goes with the MDM as well, there's an accelerometer, a gyroscope, and a magnetometer. Okay. Those words literally meant nothing to me when I started. Okay. But what that's doing is it's capturing all of the objective data. So it's capturing all of the movement, as you can see in this video, and putting it onto the iPad, and it's completely Bluetooth. I will say these sensors work much better if you're enclosed in a clinic or in a facility. The reason for that is the Bluetooth basically has to hit the walls in order for it to come back. Okay. So for example, and you can't get too far away from the iPad. So for example, you're using your AirPods right now, right? If you walk a certain distance away from your phone or whatever you're connected to, it's going to disconnect. Same thing with the sensors. Okay. So is there availability to be offline? Yes. But it's going to be better if you're or offline and outside, yes. But it's going to be better if you're on Wi-Fi and inside of a clinic or something. Okay. So let's just go through this really quick. Here's the AMI brochure that I send out to a lot of people. Actually, I'm just going to show you on the website. This does a nice job of explaining what happens. So you have 4 sensors on the body the entire time. One's on their PSIS, and then based off of their height, they have a template for a low back fitting. So it's all based off height, so it's standardized from person to person. You put the sensor on their TL junction. So it's very similar to what you saw in the first product that we saw, the Movement Suite product. The main difference is you keep the sensors on the shins the entire time. Okay, so you have 4 sensors. So on the Movement Suite, you have to take the sensors from their back and put them on the shins. On the vMove Plus, you have 4 sensors, not just 2. So they stay on the back and the shins the entire time. Then that information, so the vMove Plus sensors are Bluetooth. It puts it into the iPad. You get live data, live algorithms on the iPad. Okay. Then it goes vMove Plus uses complex. So basically the algorithms and information, puts in the metrics. It automatically generates a report. You see videos for the reps. And then you also have the ability to have web exercises as well. So you have a person do an athletic movement index assessment. They score in the red on single leg squat, single leg hop, anything, let's just say single leg. If this person has a subscription with web exercises through us, then they're able to get prescribed exercises based off of the results of the AMI. Okay. So they have to purchase the AMI. And then some people may ask you, can I have the web exercises subscription? It's an additional $50 a month. I'll also send you a contract over so we can kind of go over that from a pricing standpoint too. But this is a good overview contract of, because you'll have people that'll like start using the AMI and then they'll want to like add in some additional features like the web exercises or even running as well. Each of those, like if they have the AMI, it's just an additional $50. Okay. And if you can't remember any of this, you can always be like, let me just check. Okay, let me check and see the cost of that and then ask Andrew and Troy. And then you also have the ability, so when they have the iPad application, it's literally an app on the iPad. They have portal accessibility as well. So they have desktop accessibility. So I will have to sync my report from the iPad and it goes automatically into my portal access. I'm able to see the report from there. I love this because you can leave the iPad at home. I've already synced it, goes to the portal. I'm able to finish my notes on a desktop, send the note out to a coach, send it out to the athletic trainer or physician, something like that. Okay.
Yep.
Any questions here at all?
No, not right now.
So here are the exercises for the AMI on the vMove Plus. Everything is literally the exact same. You have plank, double leg squats. Well, these are out of, or plank, double leg squat, side plank, single leg squat on the right, single leg hop on the right, multi-directional hop to plant on the right. Ankle lunge, and then the exact same things all on the left. But the only difference is you have acceleration, deceleration added at the end. So same thing from the running, sprint to stop. So you cue them, they start in a stop position. You cue them to sprint. They sprint 10, 15, 20 yards, depending on the athlete. Like an O lineman, I'm never going to have them go 20 yards. Soccer player, I probably will, right? They come to a complete stop. They walk back to their starting position and then do the exact same thing 3 different times. So a total of 3. It's going to capture all of those metrics: ground reaction force, initial peak acceleration, contact time, for an average of those 3 sprints. Okay. The biggest difference, the biggest thing to understand with the acceleration, deceleration within the AMI, it does not go into the overall results. Okay. So they're able to choose if they want to do it or that if they don't want to do it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Then they'll receive an overall summary page, so a report. So this is what it looks like on the application version. You can also generate it into a PDF and send this off. Okay, so for instance, each score or each rep is scored. So 257 out of 408. This is not a complete AMI. The complete AMI is like scored out of like a 535 points, I think, or 504 points. The thing that I love about this system is there are levels. Let's see if it talks about this. Let me pull up a PowerPoint real quick. Do you have levels? So if you have an athlete, let's just say returning back to play from an ACL, the moment that they're able to do a double leg squat, you can test them. So I would choose level 1. The exercises are front plank, double leg squats, side plank on the right, side plank on the left, ankle lunge. I'll get all of the objective information there. Okay. It's nice to track all of the objective information because it, one, tracks the athlete or the patient. Are they on the right track? Checks in with the clinician. Do I need to pivot from where I started? Am I on the right track? And also it develops a really good relationship with the physician, because then you send this objective information. Hey, we did an assessment. This is where they were at. Here's our plan to move forward. So from an athletic trainer's perspective, then the PT can be like, hey, they completed level whatever. They can start doing X, Y, and Z in practice based off of what you're seeing as well on the field. Okay.
Yep.
Then 4 to 6 weeks later, whenever they're able to do a single leg squat, they add in the single leg squat in level 2. You do the assessment, you get a summary page. 4-ish months, when they're able to start running, do a single leg hop, you do level 3, adds in the single leg hop, and then the complete AMI is hop to plant with acceleration, deceleration. Does this make sense here?
Yep.
Okay. So for the report, you have limb symmetry. Okay, so typically surgeons, clinicians like to see 90%, so that's where you start to get in the green. Loss of balance, how many times they lose it on the left side versus the right side. Then they have LSI page. This is my favorite freaking page of all time. I would have clinicians, so like on our legacy system, our report does show you limb symmetry, but it doesn't break it down like this. So what I was having an issue with physicians is I would go in and be like, okay, they're 90% symmetrical. Okay, they're ready to return back to play. And I'd be like, no, they're symmetrically poor. Like they're measuring poor on both sides. So what we did is we broke this down so the surgeon, the clinician, the athletic trainer can see this a little bit better. So on the left side, these are all of my single leg exercises with the score plus the side plank. On my right side, these are my right single leg exercises plus the side plank with their scores. In between is my symmetry from side to side of that specific exercise. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. I say follow the colors. Red means they need work. Amber is moderate. Green is good. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, like if a clinician has like 10 minutes, or if you have 10 minutes to review this, you have like a swarm of 50 kids coming in like a matter of 10 minutes. Where do I need to focus my attention? Follow the colors. I would look at this and be like, what happened on the right side, right? What happened when you got into a single leg impact exercises? Something is going on that. So if I'm looking at this, what you did really well in is the planks, the side planks. You scored 80% limb symmetry. Okay. Maybe we could buff up the right side plank a little bit, but overall you're doing really well. Here's an example. I have 100% symmetry, but I'm symmetrically poor on the hop to plant. And this is actually my assessment. Okay. For just like a background information, I've torn my left ACL. I've torn my right. My right one is like not working right now. It's like stretched out to the point where it's non-existent. And that's exposed here.
Yep.
Okay. Overall aggregate, 72%. This is a super cool page for clinicians and athletic trainers to look at. Here's a general review of the report. So if I'm doing a mass testing event or, just wanting to run through it really quickly with a patient, where do I need to focus my attention on? And I have videos of me interpreting reports. Okay, so I'll send those to you. I'll just be like, hey, brush up on this. And then what I'll probably have you do is like you interpret the report back to me. What you're going to see, what I'm going to see is going to be different, right? But we have the objective information to like kind of support what we want to say.
Yep.
So if I'm looking at this, why am I scoring in the red here? Why am I scoring a 16 out of 60? Here are the possibilities. It's not necessarily that I did all of these. These are just like, could be because your speed was greater than 28 degrees per second and or blah, blah, blah. Not necessarily all of them. They're just general statements there. That's when you click on detail to dive into the metrics a little bit deeper. And you have the single leg metrics here. Okay. So the single leg metrics, just for an overview, we'll take more time at a different date just to kind of review all this. You have your limb quality, a picture to depict your limb quality, the metrics at the top here, your best practice recommendations in blue. This is what we recommend. And where do I need to focus my attention? Follow the colors, right? So tibial inclination, so we're on single leg hop, so depth of landing. Did you jump and land with a bent knee? I want this greater than 28 degrees. No, you landed with a stiffer leg, right? So you're going to score in the red there. Negative, when I'm looking at valgus varus metrics, negative is what? Valgus or varus?
Valgus.
Exactly. Valgus is the more provocative movement, so that's where we want you to focus your attention. We want this less than 9 degrees. You scored 6.2, so you're scoring in the green. Well done. Pelvic lateral tilt. This is in the frontal plane, so this is very different than movement suite. This is why Select wants to get this information out. That's why they want to use this system. That's why a lot of people want to transition also. In the legacy product, we don't have pelvic motion. We can appreciate we need pelvic motion, right? To understand, is it an ascending issue or is it a descending issue, right? Why are you scoring into valgus? So pelvic lateral tilt, we're capturing this in the frontal plane. Are they going into Trendelenburg? Are they going into retro Trendelenburg? Okay, so what's happening there? And then speed. We have the loading speed, but we also know the more provocative movement is landing. Okay, so did you land with less than 96 degrees? Yes, 71, but only within 24 degrees of tibial inclination. I want to see what you look like within 25 or 28 degrees. Okay. And then here's just a quick overview of what acceleration deceleration looks like. So this is going to be different on our new version. So the thing I love about, like, you're going to be working with customers, but you're also going to be working with our developer of the app and then the tech guys. The developer of the app, his name's Ed. He is the best thing in the world. Like, he is the best person. He has developed this from the ground up. He knows the application inside and out. Okay. They know from the legacy product, they know the majority of it, but our time is better spent developing this product because we want to get everyone off of that legacy product. Okay. So Ed's going to be your like go-to vMove Plus guy. If you ask him a question, he'll be able to answer it in full. He'll ask you, like, sometimes you'll be like, hey, we had sensors disconnect. I'll get, like, you'll start to know some of like the leading questions when you're talking to the customer. They're, Australia, they're off at night, or I'm sorry, they're off in the morning, our morning. Their morning starts around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, our time. And so you're basically handling all of the tech issues. Like, can I troubleshoot this a little bit? Or do I need to bring this to the developer or the tech person? So you'll be able to ask like certain questions like, were the sensors put on the right way? Were you testing inside or outside? Were you connected to Wi-Fi? You want to gather as much information in so then you can bring that over to Ed, the developer. Okay. But the thing I love, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna ask, how often do you have to like bring stuff to him versus just like an easy troubleshoot?
So we have calls twice a week, and you'll be on those calls to go through it. I maybe have 1 or 2 problems a week. It's like very hit or miss. Sometimes, like, when it rains, it freaking storms, you know what I mean, with issues. But once you get used to it, you're able to kind of troubleshoot. A lot of the time it's user error, to be completely honest.
Oh yeah, right.
So you'll be able to kind of talk through that. But there are some where it's like, hey, the screen's going white. Why is that? And you can't really understand what's going on, but Ed will know. So I would say maybe once or twice a week, you're going to have those issues. And I think with that, like, I'll teach you, hopefully we can get you on some of the tech calls and like some of the troubleshooting with customers. I'll just start sending you like, hey, can you meet during this time? If you can, great. If you can't, no big deal. I'll try and record as much as I can. But sometimes it'll be like just a quick call from a from a customer. And if I have to bring it to Ed, I will. No problem. And you can always say, like, if it's something that you need to bring to Ed, you've troubleshooted everything that you could, and be like, you know what, I'm so sorry that this happened. Let me talk with my developer or the tech team, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible on this.
Okay.
People are understanding about that. Some people are, and then sometimes people aren't, and you just have to be like, my hands are tied. Like, sorry, I've tried to troubleshoot as much as I can. Okay. Acceleration, deceleration. So this is going to be looking different. And what I was getting to is the thing I love about Ed is he's constantly developing the app. So when we're doing training, we want to make sure that like the automatic updates for the apps are on, because then it'll send through like the new builds to the people. And I'll go through this with training too. But once a new build has been released, every vMove Plus person will get that new build. So it could be the way that we interpret, or the way that we're doing an assessment. It could be demographic, input, etc. Kind of the quick and dirty of the AMI. Do you have any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, so then the other assessment that's on there is the running assessment. So I'll pull up that PowerPoint again. Okay, so again, it's all treadmill based. So here's what your system, your application is going to look like. You'll select either the AMI module, or right now we're going to select the run module. I need to update some of these pictures. But you're going to have 3 exercises or 3 ways to do this module. The first one is run live interval. Second is run live manual. The last one's acceleration deceleration. Okay, so the main difference, so run live interval. So you have the sensors put on their shins. So similar to how we do the AMI. Okay, so I put them on their shins. Nothing goes on their back there. The run live interval. So I could have them run up to 15 minutes. And I'm either going to select 60 seconds, 90 seconds, or 120 seconds. So for instance, I have a person running on the treadmill for 15 minutes and I choose 60 seconds. Every 60 seconds, it's going to pull live metrics while they're on their treadmill. What's happening during that first 60 seconds? What's happening on the next 60-second interval? How is it going on the next 60-second interval? Okay. So the reason why this is beneficial is because you're able to provide live coaching cues. So if I have someone running their first minute and I see there's IPA difference or contact time difference, maybe I'll be like, hey, take shorter steps, or hey, push through your right leg a little bit more. Then on the next 60 seconds, I'm able to see, did that adjust it? Right? Then the next 60 seconds, I'm able to see, are they maintaining that? Does that make sense?
Yep.
So then it'll give you a comprehensive report. So this is what it looks like live while you're actually doing the treadmill assessment. And then it'll give you a comprehensive report here. So ASI. So ASI is going to always be for ground reaction force, their asymmetry. And then you have their interval. So this is what interval 1 looks like for their metrics: ground reaction force, initial peak acceleration, contact time, speed, and cadence. Here's their percentage over here. This is what the second interval looks like. This is what the cumulative, so the average, looks like. Okay. Any questions on that at all?
Nope.
Then you have the run live manual. So again, they're on the treadmill. They have the sensors on their shins. Now you're dictating the start and stop time of this. So if I want to see what you look like running 1:30, I'll press start. Once I hit 1:30, I'll press stop. Okay. I love this one for people who are trying to build relationships or have relationships with running stores. So you can try on different shoes. So for instance, I want to see what you look like running in your Asics. I'm going to press start and stop. I want to see what you look like on the next interval running in your Brooks. We're going to change out your shoes, start and stop. So I'm able to understand the difference of the metrics in different shoes. Other people have used it like, okay, so the first rep, we're going to do just a normal run. Second rep, we're going to add the incline in. Third rep, we're going to put a band around your waist. Okay, so in their mind thinking, okay, I want to see what you normally run like. The incline is going to make you lean forward a little bit more, activate your glute max a little bit more. And then also the band, I drop you back down off your incline, put the band on, increase your incline, or I'm sorry, your forward lean a little bit more. How does that all impact? So just different ways that they can do that. And then you'll get a cumulative report on that as well. And then the acceleration deceleration is sprint to stop, same as the AMI. Okay. Any questions on the run?
Nope.
Okay. The professional suite, so that's AMI vMove Plus in a nutshell. Let's just quickly review the professional suite. Majority of people using professional suite are using Run and Knee, very similar to what you saw in the first product, the legacy product. Okay. Professional Suite is also iPad based. The difference between vMove Plus and Professional Suite is there's no video on Professional Suite. vMove Plus, there is video. So that's why people like to upgrade to vMove Plus from Professional Suite. Another big thing to understand with the running, the algorithm is completely different on those. So, meaning the algorithm is what, as they're running, the impact that they're having, and then the metrics it's sending out. So for instance, like the Professional Suite algorithm is a little bit more forgiving than our legacy product. So the legacy product and the vMove Plus have the exact same algorithm. So we went back to our old algorithm, okay? So if someone's transitioning from Professional Suite to vMove Plus, and they're starting to notice like these metrics are so different than Professional Suite, it's because we're using a completely different algorithm. But our legacy product is trusted by many customers. And we've gotten feedback that customers enjoy that algorithm. It depicts more deficits and also like a little bit closer to what their natural form is than Professional Suite. So sticking to the run, this is what a report would look like. So again, you'd have them on the treadmill, very similar kind of aspect. You have their ground reaction force. It's always measured in Newton, same thing. Initial peak acceleration, average contact time. But again, they don't have a video. vMove Plus and Legacy does. Okay. So you have their forefoot. What does that say? 100. We'll just play around with the move. We'll play around with the Professional Suite. Like I said, like I never answer any questions to this at all. Okay. Has ground reaction force on the right, left side here, and then all of their metrics below. You have their knee module, so very similar to the legacy product. Single leg hop, single leg squat, double leg squat, box drops, and you're getting loading, landing, flight time, valgus varus, like all the very exact same. It's just done on a different system. Okay. But again, you won't answer a lot of questions on this at all. Let's just look at the run. We'll play some of these videos here. They have run monitoring, so you're able to send a person out for a long distance run. Okay. We don't have that anymore. Okay. So just know that.
Okay.
Just gonna stop that part because none of that's relevant. Let's watch this one. I shouldn't say names. The live assessment. Starting now.
So for this one, how are they choosing the intervals? Is
That's
it
very similar to the vMove Plus manual? They're pressing start. I want to capture it for 50 or for 45 seconds. I press stop for a minute. The next rep I want to see, press start. I want to capture it again for now. I want to do 1:30 to see if it evens out. So this one's very similar to the manual on vMove Plus. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Nope.
I know you're getting a lot of information. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I think I'm doing okay.
Okay.
It's more so getting to play around with the actual app.
100%. Like you'll understand it once you actually get your hands on it. And I'll probably like send you off with like maybe we cut a training short, try this on yourself maybe tonight or try it on someone tonight or something like that. Okay. So transitioning. So those are the modules, those are the systems. The main two that you're going to work with, Movement Suite, AMI, running, and then vMove Plus, AMI, running. Okay. Cool. No questions so far. We're feeling pretty good.
Yep.
Okay. So the next piece, I'm just gonna have you add some of this stuff to your bookmark, like are you on your Select laptop or are you on your
No,
on your
I'm on the Mac.
Okay, perfect. So I didn't send you a laptop, but if you need me to send you one, just let me know. Are you good with what you have right now, or do you want a different laptop? It's just an HP.
I think I should be good. rather not have 3 laptops if I can.
I know I didn't want you to add like more equipment. Like this is Dorsa V. Now I'm transitioning
Yeah.
over here. So, okay. So there's a couple things that we're just going to bookmark. So the first one I'm going to send you is going to be, we'll just go through this really quickly. And I'll send this to your Dorsa V email. Okay, so mailing. So mailing is going to be extremely important as part of what's going on. You're going to get to know your FedEx people, your UPS people, your USPS people pretty well, okay? Because you're just going to go into those quite often. I probably send something out like once a day, once every other day, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Here's what we have, like who to ship with. So for replacement parts, this should always be within 24 hours. So if a sensor disconnects, something like that happens, they reach out to you. Hey, Brittany, I'm having an issue with my MDM sensor. You're going to test it really quick, make sure it charges, and then send it off in USPS. That can be like, customers can wait. Like they can adjust their schedule. I don't love making them wait. Like if I'm doing USPS, it's going to be at most 3 days, and I'll just warn them of that. Hey, you need to reschedule. If they're like, we have a testing event tomorrow, our sensors pick, just aren't working anymore, overnight it. Okay, and it's fine. So USPS priority mail is used as much as possible. It's going to be the cheapest option, and priority 2 day, and it usually takes 3 days to deliver. Okay. FedEx is used for overnight shipping when USPS or UPS can't get there in time. So you'll just have to play around with like when you're entering a label in, creating a shipment, understanding which one's going to get there quickest if they need it. Procedure. So unless the case originates with you, so it will always with you, someone's going to reach out to you. Hey, I had a sensor issue. You're going to run through like troubleshoot a little bit. Okay. And I have some videos of that. You're going to test the following equipment before shipping. So RFDs, so the big black iPod looking thing. And I'm going to test you. Which system does that go towards, or which product?
That's with the Move Plus.
Movement Suite.
Yeah, Movement Suite.
Movement Suite. Perfect. So that's going to go. MDMs go with which product?
That's with the Move Plus, the newer one.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. You're good. RFD, MDM. MDM's like the longer white ones. Movement Suite. Okay.
Yep.
The MDE sensors. MDE sensors are the EMG sensors. Those are the smaller white ones. Those go with Movement Suite. V6 sensors, those are Professional Suite. Those are black sensors. Okay. And you'll get to know all of these. Cradles and charging cords, those are going to go with either system. They just have different cradles, different charging cords. Okay. But we'll go through all of the equipment. Make a note of that as we're kind of going through this equipment day.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab my charger real quick.
Okay, you're good. You good?
Yep.
Okay. So you're gonna just basically, like, before you send any of these out, you're just gonna plug them in, make sure that they light up, and then send them off. Okay. You're gonna package the equipment. So basically, when you're printing off a label, you'll create a shipment. And again, I have a video of these, but we'll kind of go through these also. If I'm doing USPS, I'm going to create a label. I'm going to select which type of package it is. Okay, so like for MDM, I'm just going to put it in like a bubble, like a bubble envelope. MDMs aren't super big. If I have a bigger shipment, I'll do like a small box, medium box, large box, something like that. And then this also explains to you, so like RFD, the RFD, the MDM, the MD, V6 sensors can be returned to you. So when you're sending out a new MDM sensor, that's probably the most common thing that you'll send out. You'll actually send them the sensor, but then you'll also send a PDF version of a shipping label back to you. So you're going to make 2 labels for them for that. Okay. The cradle, the charging cord, you can just tell them to toss that out. Okay. And if you don't remember, you can just text me or text Shauna. And then paperwork, I really don't do this that much. You don't have to do this piece. Shipping supplies, because you'll keep a case. So you'll also, like, if you ever have an issue, we'll do like a whole day of just like cases and then process of like entering a case. And again, I have a webinar on that too. If they have a tech issue, you're going to enter it into a case in Salesforce as well. So your documentation. So you're entering the serial number of the sensor that went bad, and then also the serial number that you're replacing it with. Okay. Here are the links. So USPS with their link, their username and password, so you don't have to use your own. The credit card is now 510. UPS, the link, and the credit card's always going to be the same. It's saved in all of them, so you're just going to log in and just use that credit card on there. The one you're going to use the most is going to be USPS. Okay. So usually what I'll do is I'll just save this document here. I have USPS on my bookmark up top.
Yeah.
It'll take me to USPS. I'm logged in. As you can see, I'm already logged in. So quick tools, I'll go click and ship. Already logged in here, so I'll save this. We have an address book, so when in doubt, you can just look up. So like if I want to look up Maca, it's already saved. Okay, but when you're sending something out, you always just want to ask them like, what's your shipping address?
Yep.
Okay. All that gets entered here. You're going to skip this piece. You're going to enter 50 in every single time. Again, I have a video made for this. Priority mail, and then you're going to select your package. Okay. Pretty easy on that, but I'll send this document to you right now and we'll have a whole day of going over cases.
Yep.
Okay.
I think this stuff might have been delivered actually.
Oh, yay. That's exciting. Yep. What's your Dorsey V email? Do you know it?
Oh, geez.
I can look real quick. You're good.
I guess I should start learning that one, huh?
You're good. Your first initial and your last name at dorsey.com.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
All of the emails from my account will be transferred to you. So it'll be like, I'll put like an automatic reply message on them. I'm maternity leave, please, send over. I'm also going to send an email to all of our customers to let them know.
Okay.
Be a bitch to do, but we'll do it.
Yep.
I usually just save it right here and I open that document up. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So some things that I'm going to have you put on Your toolbar. Just gonna go line by line here. I'm gonna drop in the chat. Okay, so the early transition priority Excel list. So this is a live list. Really, the only people that have access to it are you and me, and then Shauna used to. Okay. So did you get that link through?
Yep.
I would put it on bookmark it. What it is, let me know when you're ready to review it really quickly.
Yep, I'm good.
So what it is it's just our list of early transition people that have talked from moving from the legacy product or professional suite to us about the vMove Plus product. You're really not going to use it a ton, to be completely honest with you. I actually need to go through and update this. But these are just the people that have kind of communicated with us, and we have just we take notes on this. Okay. Again, not an Excel sheet that you're going to use a ton. But if you're looking through this and you're like, okay, do I want to transition someone? Or if we're talking to someone like Courtney Willert, for instance, she's someone that we've talked to a lot on transitioning because she has so many user issues with the legacy product. I want her to transition over to vMove Plus. She's on this list. Okay. So again, not an Excel sheet that you're going to use a ton. I just want you to be aware of it. Here are the run pilot people. We're finished with the run pilot. I'm going to start collecting all of these iPads and all of these systems. I might send a few to you and then keep the rest of them. But in order for us to put any module out on production, we have people go through a pilot assessment. Okay, so here are all of the outside select clinics that did it, and here are the select clinics that utilized it, their contact, their email, when they were trained, any notes, and then their Apple ID passwords. Okay, and then I just went through and looked at usage, how many times they did the assessment. Again, not something that you're going to use a ton. Joe Haas is an advocate for our system. So we're going to actually, you'll probably train him or be on a training with me with him. He's a strength and conditioning coach. He advertises Dorsey V all the time. He's never used our system. He just believes in the product. He came from IV rehab with Mike St. George, and these people mean nothing to you right now, but they will eventually. He's moved to Florida, but what he'll do is like they have a Facebook page and it's return or ACL return to play. And so parents will reach out to Mike St. George and Joe Haas from across the US and be like, we want to do an assessment. So what I've done is I've started to make names and then tried to connect them with the clinics. I'm going to tell Joe that's going to kind of go on pause while you're here. Just because I think it's just like additional information or additional tasks you don't need to do. But if you ever want to hook them up, that's there for you too. Okay, so just kind of take that Excel spreadsheet with like a grain of salt. Okay.
Yep.
Salesforce is going to be a big one for you. Okay, so I sent that over. We're going to have a whole day on training on Salesforce. Okay.
Yep.
This is where you enter all of your documentation. So every single account, every single customer, every person that we've talked to is all in this. So for instance, if I want to look up, let's go select Des Moines. I'll type in Des Moines.
Oh, you got to share your screen again.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so here's what Salesforce looks like. Hey, please stop. Hey, stop. So if I want to look up an account, Des Moines, they used to be called Physiotherapy Associates. I go to their account. On their account, it has every single contact that we've worked with. Any cases, so any of the tech issues. Okay, so we'll go through cases day on a Salesforce training day. Any of the note or like attachments, so like their contracts, any conversation that we've had with them, I need to update this. I've had multiple conversations with people, so that's going to be one of my tasks. Then if I go to details, it's going to show me all of my information on the background of it. So the current customer, they're using vMove. vMove is also Movement Suite or vPerform. And any notes that I have on them. Here's their activation code. We'll go through that setup. Their activation code again, their usage, billing address, shipping address, all that information's all in here. Okay. You can always connect with them and just like double check. But this is the general Salesforce. So definitely bookmark this. You'll be in this every single day.
And so is this just my email, my first and last initial and the same password, or what, do I have to get this set up?
Yeah, I'm going to ask. I might just have you use mine, honestly.
Okay.
And just keep track of that just so I can kind of, well, I'll ask what they want us to do. I kind of just said, like, maybe I'll just have her use my username and password. And I didn't get an answer back. So I'll follow up with them.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing I'm going to have you bookmark, this is also something you'll be in a lot, the USA clinic list. I'm going to copy this over to you. Definitely bookmark that. And let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Okay. This is an Excel sheet of every single clinic that is our customer. Okay. So right now we have, so you're going to be managing a lot of clinics. A lot of clinics don't reach out to you though, too. Okay. So just know that. So we have about 279, 280-ish people, okay, using using our systems. Each one of them are listed. So let's go to Sinai. Here's their facility, where they're located, who the account manager is. I'm the account manager now on all of the systems. We used to have multiple account managers. What their action items are. So like it could be when they're trained, any additional notes that they have, like interested in transitioning over to vMove Plus, literally anything that we've communicated with them that we feel is appropriate to add into here. You're also going to add into Salesforce. What their monthly cost is. Some of them have the monthly cost, some of them don't. Okay. If you know it, great. You can put that in. If you don't, no problem. Are they a PT or not? And then we're in San Diego State now. Okay, so let's not do her because she's kind of an interesting one. So Sinai. So the month that we sold them the product, who their contact person is. Here we go. This is why. Who their contact person is. Actually isn't true anymore. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. Her name is Annie. She goes by Annie. Her name's Grace. Here's their email. What are they currently using? So what system? So PS means Professional Suite. MS means Movement Suite. vMove Plus will also be on there. R is running. K is knee. Okay, so what module they're using? They're probably going to transition. And then vMove Plus. So if they have vMove AMI, so if I transition them over, I would just put 1 here. Oops. I would enter that in. Okay, so what system are they using? Where are they at? And then you'll just have to kind of click through this. Are they select AMI? Yes or no? Are they non-select AMI? Are they using running, knee, low back? Movement challenges, you won't ever put that in. Functional exercises, you also will never put that in. Hip, never put it in. Hamstring, never put it in. So your main ones are going to be running, knee, low back, or AMI. Okay. And then also we make a mark, are they vMove Plus? Are they Movement Suite? Or are they Professional Suite? Okay. Pretty self-explanatory. We'll go through like a whole day on this, I'm sure. Contract. I'm just taking notes for myself. Variation, and then also discontinue. The other tab that you'll be in, like all the time on this, I shouldn't say all the time, but like a discontinued list. So if someone reaches out to you, hey, we'd like to discontinue your subscription. I think I made a video for that for you. You just basically answer, like ask them like, why do you want to discontinue? Is there any way we can keep you as a customer? If they say no, then you're just going to basically copy all of this information. So you'll right click, cut it, then drop it into this, and you'll go through contract variation, but I'll show you how to cancel a person too.
Okay.
Okay. All right, for the last few minutes, I'm just going to have you add these on to vMove Plus customers. A lot of these Excel sheets are repetitive because multiple people were creating them. Now I just do my best to like update them. I'm gonna have you bookmark clinic manager. Clinic manager, we'll go through this like the whole day of like a day of this. Clinic manager is basically like the back end information of Movement Suite. So adding modules, adding new customers, creating databases, all that good stuff.
So in that, I see that's a username and password. That's just my,
You'll use
do I have okay.
Yeah, just bookmark it, and when we train on it, we'll go through that. Weekly stock count. So I'm going to send you all of our stock. That's a shared one. So it's just all of the equipment that you have. I'm going to share Shauna's shared folder. There's a lot of good info in this. Right now, just bookmark all this stuff. We'll go through it.
For some reason, I can't, it's not letting me click the weekly stock.
Send that to you in an email then. Might need to get access to the weekly stock.
I was gonna say in the Shauna folder too, it says it's empty.
Get you access to that. Send those to you. Okay, then. Jira. You're going to use my username and password on this one too. Jira is how you communicate with all the tech guys. We have tech issues. You go through that twice a week with the tech guys. Contract variation form, like we will go literally line by line on all of these, okay? Contract variation
Okay.
form, and if you ever have like a change in someone's account, you're gonna fill that out for them. I have a video on that already, I think. And then I'm gonna send you portal access. This is gonna be on Google Chrome. Okay. I don't know if you were doing anything else on, or like a different platform. But
Yeah, I
here,
usually use Google.
Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Here's the portal. That's for customers. So production will be portal.dorseyv's production. The production means for current customers, paying customers. And then this is for vMove Plus for our pilot customers. Okay, so like anytime we're developing something, the tech guys might do something in there and tell you to like try and test it out. Okay. So just bookmark all those, and then we'll go through them each. And I'll record every single training video that we have, okay?
Yep.